Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. This is Daniel Ashula. Welcome to Ashula Media. Today, my guest is Father Paul. I think he's, modesty apart, one of the foremost intellectuals in the Roman Catholic Church. We've had a lot of trouble actually getting this interview up and running for whatever many technical problems, and I think somebody out there doesn't want us to speak to each other, but we actually were able to connect. And Father Paul, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for joining us again.
Well, it's great to be back.
Father Paul, I think you and Monsignor Vigano today are the only members of the Roman Catholic Church, apart from those consecrated without the permission of the Holy See, to fight the New World Order. Do you really consider yourself as an exception among the Roman prelates? And if so, how do you explain this rather disturbing situation?
We have a situation in the church that is parallel to what took place during the time of the Arian crisis, the great Arian heresy. And one of the ancient fathers commented on that when that would be Saint Vincent of Lerins, and he said that there was as if it were a fog that completely enveloped the minds of the hierarchy and the bishops. They were so confused they could not grasp the gravity of what was happening in the church. That this was a heresy that threatened to destroy the church, and yet they were compromising with it and treating it as if it were not such a big deal to worry about. It's happening again.
But why does the clergy denounce? Why doesn't the clergy denounce Bergoglio's complicity with New World Order, which reached heights of true subservience during the big pharma, during the pandemic farce, the COVID-19, and also the World Economic Forum with its climate fraud?
They are in such a state of denial and in such deep ignorance in the church that uh, they have no idea what's really happening in the world. I've said it before. Their minds inhabit an inverted parallel universe. Uh, they just cannot see the situation that the world is in, and it's a dire situation, and they cannot grasp it. They can see various individual problems here and there, but they don't see what unites them, and that the causes that what is causing all of the disorder in the world. Uh, they seem to be completely unaware of the cause.
Now, speaking of the parallels, you just mentioned the word parallel. I wanted to ask you about the mirror relationship between the coup d'etat of the deep state in the civil sphere and also the similar one of the deep church. And I do mean deep church in the ecclesiastical sphere.
Yes, and Archbishop Vigano has spoken about this, that there is indeed this deep church, as there is a deep state, uh, and there's a deep state in most all of the countries of the Western world. There is a deep state that is uh, following orders from from our perspective unseen masters, people who are at the commanding heights, uh, uh, giving decrees, and the presidents and the prime ministers are simply expected to obey, and they even say so much. Here in Ireland, I recall the prime minister we had before, uh, Micheál Martin, went so far as to say in one, I don't remember if it was an interview or if it was just a remark he said to a journalist, and he basically said, we just do what we're told. Now, this is a complete overturning of the system of government that we have, because the elected officials are answerable to the electorate, and they're supposed to be taking their orders from the people who elect them. They uh, they were elected on the premise that they were going to execute a particular set of policies, and that the people voted for that. But they bypass that entire process, and they simply listen to commands coming from the people who rule the world through high finance.
Now, we talked about the deep state before, you and I, on the political world order. But who are some of the members of the deep state within the Roman Catholic Church?
Well, there was one elected in 2013 who is considered by most in the church to be the Pope. That is Jorge Bergoglio, who is entirely at the disposal of the Masonic Revolution. He takes his orders from them. His agenda is their agenda, and that's why the deep state and the deep church are marching in lockstep now with each other, because they are how should I say, answerable to the same superiors. And I mean that in the most literal sense. They answer to the same superiors, including Bergoglio himself.
So who is Bergoglio answerable to?
Bergoglio is answerable to the venerable master of the lodge, the Masonic lodge in Buenos Aires, where he was inscribed. And again, I can't reveal the details as to how the information came to me, but it was verified in a very graphic manner. A phone call that he was heard in the Vatican, in his residence. He was heard speaking with his Masonic superior, and it was about someone in the Vatican that he wanted to terminate, and he was told he may not do so.
Would it be fair to say that the Second Vatican Council and the Novus Order were for the Church, while the Revolution and Declaration of Human Rights were for the civil societies? Because the basis of both lies the poisonous germ, I'd say, of the revolution. In other words, the subversion of the natural order that God established for men and human societies.
The Masonic Revolution, which was really launched in its full force at the time of the French Revolution, invaded the church. It invaded the church long ago, but it came into power at the Second Vatican Council. And it was admitted, even by some of the Council Fathers, that the principles of Vatican II were the principles of 1789, which is the revolution in France. So the secularism has invaded the church, and this is the entire principle behind this idea of what they refer to as aggiornamento, which is the updating of the church to bring the church in line with the times, which is actually meaning to adjust the church according to the secular ideology that rules in the secular world.
Before we continue, I want to say something. Obviously, you know that in today's day and age, censorship is a big issue. We all know that. Also, political correctness. Doesn't matter if we're talking about politics or we're talking about the church, is the name of the game. And they train you to obey. They train you to obey the Pope. They train you to obey the government. They train you to obey the rules of the order of secret societies. And obey you must, lest you wish you have in social media, your TV channel or YouTube channel canceled, your identity removed from social media. And that's why I want to invite all of those who are watching us today to join me on my community at Estulin.media, where literally we can have guests such as Father Paul Kramer, okay, talking without censorship, okay, to help you understand what is relevant, what is not relevant, without restrictions. Did you know, Father Kramer, that YouTube has removed over 100 of my videos over the past 5 or 6 years, following, according to them, community guidelines, and whatever these guidelines mean, and obviously to obfuscate reality. So again, join us. Join Estulin.media, where you can explore important elements of controversial subjects that nobody wants to touch, because the truth will set you free. Forewarned is forearmed.